Sheer Curry says. Noid. Future Oil Painter says. Home skill lith. Sheer Curry says. Your mic is off.
Does this work? There we go. Thanks. All right.
Mogger99 says.
Logger, what's up, man?
Future Oil Painter says. Think it's sign language for you guys are awesome.
There you go. Got it. Nailed it. Okay. All right, Butt for Chair, very good job, man. I'm pleased that you're doing this. They're wanting to do like a better example for you. Here's the thing. Some of these corrections I'll do and they'll be wrong because it's probably okay. It's just it's probably just the pictures at an angle or something possibly. So what I've been trying to get you to do is get a light impression. And it probably looks different in real life, you know? Mark, thank you, man. That's really nice. Thank you so much. Look at that. Yeah, that's really nice. Gifted a sub to Curry. Really cool. Let's see. Let me.
Future Oil Painter says. Nice.
Yeah. But I'm pleased that you're doing this. That's why, I've wanted to spend more time for you. Give me a second here. Let me.
Sheer
was I
Curry
doing?
says. Damn, what does this mean?
That means that you don't need to on Twitch. You won't get commercials.
Mogger99 says. You're cool, Sheer Curry.
Yeah.
Future Oil Painter says.
It's probably
You're
$5 right there.
Mogger99 says. Keep the chat real.
Yeah.
Future Oil Painter says. Congrats. Sheer Curry says. Damn what? Thanks. Jevagiel says.
Jeff.
Penneth.
There you go.
Sheer Curry says. Crazy.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, essentially with this, we
Future
want to
Oil
get a
Painter
light
says.
impression.
Jeff.
Jeffrey, my dear boy.
Jevagiel says. You are crazy.
First off, guys, this is an AI photo. I don't recommend going off AI. I do it because if I show something on stream and the person wants it down later because it's a real life person, it's a headache. So I will use AI. If you're a student, it's best not to use AI. I actually told Butt4Cheer to use this image only because it was the only image I could find that was a dark background, and I wanted him to learn values. But it's not good. Ideally, what you want to do is have a natural, real life photo or a class dark background for this exercise. That's what you want, real. So, little disclaimer. But for the lessons he needs to learn, this is okay. Okay. It's this here. There we go. Okay. So, what we want to do, Butt4Chair, we want to have, what I want you to do, I want you to squint down at this image right here. Okay. I want you to squint down at that image. And when you squint down, we're going to have, you're going to see like this all right here right? Going down here, all the down here, this unifies, right? And you have this here. Then you have a little bit here, a little bit here, and then this will darken some in here, right? But you have a sense of light, and obviously you have this piece and you know, kind of flowing down. This is what we want. We want it obviously different. Now, I don't want the background as dark as this yet. Why? Because every time we add information in, we see things that need to change shape-wise, okay? And so it needs to remain flexible. When we put that charcoal deep and dark, it's going to make it very difficult to change things. So this is just a method of working things up, which is why I'm pleased with this. But every time we put the charcoal in, you know, this type of charcoal this is fusane nitrum charcoal on Roma paper. It's very hard to control. It's very rough. And so as you can see here, it's not very smooth, especially around in this area here. And it doesn't have, what might come off? You know, we lose some of the drawing, as you can tell here. It's kind of here, but like, you know, we need to clean it up. And so this is the stage right here where we need to clean this up. So
Jebaziel says, I love Fusane.
yeah, me too, man. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to start working this in some, and I'm going to like as if this is my drawing. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work it up and I'll try to do a couple different layers here on this, but um right now, what I would be focusing on is trying to get the drawing correct, along with um, creating a unified value. Like this right here is good. That darkness is good, okay? And we want this uniformity across all here, here, right? And we want these shapes better defined. And but for share, I want you to kind of lightly squint down. And I want you to flash your eyes back and forth between the two. And I want you not thinking about the shadows. I want you thinking about the light shape. Do you see how, I'm going to switch back to the red so you can see this. You see how this comes in too far compared to where this is right here? In terms of the darkness, this should be darker here, right? A little bit darker. Stuff like this. This right here, you have darker than this, but it's not that dark. Like this is too dark. This is too dark right here. Do you see that? We need it to turn just like this is turning. This exercise right here,
Futury
even at
Oil
this
Painter
stage,
says, I
good.
see it.
Even at this stage, even at the very basic stages, we can get a light impression. Despite some people might not believe this, you don't need the full range of values to get a believable light impression that is keyed properly. But as we go on and we become more correct, we want to maintain the light impression while correcting the drawing. That's why we need to not darken it so that it can't be changed. We need to make it still malleable, moldable. We can still change it, move the charcoal around without scarring the paper. As we go, as we like drawing into place, then we go through and we say, okay, darkest dark. Okay, we put the darkest dark. Okay, that's going to be the darkest dark. Then we have the lightest light, you know, which is, you know, up in here, over here. That's going to be the lightest light. And then we go in between and we get the values, right? That's normally how we work this up. But that's after we get the drawing in, which is what we're working on here. And you've done a good job because you have not overdone it. We just need to clean it up and unify shadows and organize our light shapes. Okay? That's what we need to do right now. So let's go ahead and do this. We've lost the drawing in here. I do want, this is good because I did say to kind of bring the shadow in, but we don't want to lose the anatomy. You can still mark the drawing a little bit. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to work on this some. This is digital. It's way easier to draw in digital because you're not having to deal with the paper. And another time I'll show you techniques on actual charcoal paper and show exactly how to do it. I'll also show you how to sharpen the charcoal here in a second. Just remind me. Don't let me forget that. Okay. Let's do this. bring this over some so I can actually see it. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to take that back. And the reason why I'm going to take that back is because I'm going to work that area too. I want to show you how I work that
Future
area.
Oil Painter says.
But we'll keep it here.
Sharpen reminder.
Okay. B. All right, so looking at the negative shape here, it should essentially move this piece. Let me show you. Look at this shape compared to this shape. Do you see that? That's what I'm looking at with this stuff. Work big. This is too compressed. It's here.
Future Oil Painter says. Feel like we're in a mad scientist laboratory.
Yeah, this comes up some. It's out like that. We got to get the form back. This is going to fill out some. Okay, that's what's going to happen. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to start making other corrections elsewhere as well. Let's go. We're using the eraser. We're just erasing out some. Just squint down. I'm going to start unifying everything. Unify everything at the same time. Squint, squint, squint. We're squinting. Jeff, what have you been up to, man? Bringing that up some. Notice I'm drawing all around because I'm trying to have everything to relate to one another. I'm not going to be able to get through this whole thing, but my goal here is to get a simple light impression for you.
Cher Curry says. She needs to drop that leg workout routine.
So normally after we fill everything in, right, we have lost the drawing a little bit. That's what I'm talking about. We lose the drawing some. So I am trying to go back through and get the drawing back. All right, and then I'm going to try to get the light impression at the same time. So we have this value, and you'll be able to see what I do. Look at this. See, you're gonna see what I do. I'm gonna start getting the line impression. So I'm trying to think all this area in here. We're trying to unify this some, right? Look at my eyes, and you can see. No, y'all can't see it because there's a shadow over, but I'm squinting a lot when I do this. Whenever you see me shadowing, most of the time I'm squinting, and then like I'm squinting like this, and I open my eyes to see what I've done, squint back, and I'm flashing my eyes back and forth between the two because I'm trying to unify this to this while getting the shape correct at the same time. All right. I'll fix this. Don't worry. It is a little bit off, like the drawing's off, but don't worry about that yet. Check this out. Check it. Check it. You see how we have this piece here? And then you see this piece here? And then how this shadow comes up here? See that? And look at this. This is level with this shadow here. Do you see? So the drawing's off, right? We can see that. Damn, I keep on doing that. So again, I'm trying to get the light impression. And but for chair, keep in mind, I'm very pleased that you're doing this. Um, and this stuff
Future
takes
Oil
a
Painter
lot of time
says.
to be able to do.
Man, it's off.
Yeah. So if that's why I wanted to keep it here. And I was like, not it's not like oh yeah, you detail. No, don't detail. Don't do this. Like this stuff in here is too much right now. Bring that up some. Damn. And it's very easy for me to fix this pretty fast in Photoshop. It's just easier to work digital. Like it just is. Like look at this. This stuff here, there's too much detail. This is too light here this is too light. This is the same as this. Everything's off, right? So that's why and so we need to get the values correct, and then we need to make them look neat, which is get the drawing back, right? So look, it's like this in paint. Oftentimes this happens in paint sometimes. I think probably less than charcoal. Charcoal is very hard to fill things in, so you're going to lose the drawing. Shadow, and you lose the drawing, you got to get it back. That's always the process most of the time. That's the process. Okay, so what do I mean here? I'm just gonna go with simple hatching technique here. Make this kind of the same. And I'm not gonna go too dark here. I'm just trying to um, you know, oops, I messed that up some. I'll fix that in a second. Let's go up here. And these hands are horrible, but this is AI. I think eventually it'll be okay to go off of. Right now, just don't learn from that. The lesson, again, the lesson is not the anatomy here. The lesson is the values. Actually comes over some. That's it. Okay. So then let's go to this. All right, unify. I'm unifying everything right now. This back's messed up. I'll fix that in a second. I messed that up. I gotta change the song out like this. I mean, it's a good song, but okay.
Mogger99 says, AI is demonic.
It might be. Again, I recommend going off of, like, I can't, on, I've had people say they don't want their picture shown before, and so when they said it was okay, and I don't want to go through that 'cause it's a headache trying to take this stuff down. So this, I use AI just because I'm not going to get reprimanded by, but yeah, still, this stuff is not good to go off of. For values, this is what
Sheer
I
Curry
wanted him to
says,
do. It's the only one
but
we could
for cheer
find.
you should draw your wife. Future Oil Painter says, she won't volunteer. I could use a pick guess.
It goes in. Comes here. Draw. Something like that. So brings that in some. This is okay to kind of slightly imply it's there. Something like that. That's ballpark. And then unify. Unify, unify, unify. So again, the unification process, this is important. You just take your time with it. And like, yeah, I know I can, like, I'm kind of, this is easier than charcoal, but I'm still drawing this out. Like, I know I could get a bigger brush and just like really paint it in, but I really want to show how I work this up. I'm trying to get as close to charcoal as I can in digital, if that makes sense. Right? This stuff here isn't great. So like this is, here, let me finish up here. Let me show you what I'm doing here.
Future oil painter says. Yep.
There we go. So when I squint and do this, what I'm trying to see is discrepancies between the shadowing and stuff. And I try to go, so if it's like lighter here, I might just go into it. It's like you take your time, you just try to, we want to make this as unified as we possibly can, you know? Okay, let's work this area here. I'll fix this back area in a second, but I'm just trying to, y'all know what I'm trying to do. This is actually coming out too far. This is here, this is coming out something like this. This is here, it's up there. Comes out more. This cuts in there. And then I don't know what's happening there because I have it blocked out. Let's do that. And then I'm going to try to shave off a little bit. So with the eraser, I would just kind of come in here and hatch, you know, this is like pretend the white's the eraser, okay? White's the eraser, very lightly. And you can bring it to the value. You don't need to bring it down to the paper. In other words, see how I brought it down to the value? I didn't do this like, okay, I'm erasing, I got it. Now then you have to go through and draw it again. You don't need to do that. I do this with charcoal too. So you learn these techniques, but and then you can go back over it, just a little bit. Something like this. I don't know. Just trying to unify this as much as we can. All right, and then let's unify this area some too, right? It was a little bit darker. I intentionally have a small um like what do you want to call this? Like uh brush. It's intentionally small because we're drawing, right? We come in here, let's unify this trying to unify this. But what am I doing here? I'm trying to I'm not trying to I know this is starting to become like a little bit modeled, but I'm really not trying to do that right now. I'm trying to just kind of unify this out and bring the shadow over some, right? Let's bring this down, unify this. And I'm thinking draw the light shapes. Something like this. Draw the light shapes. Squint, 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 squint. Okay. And you can squint too. Squint and see what I'm doing with this, right? Squint back and forth and pretend like you're the one
Future
doing
oil
this.
painter says. Oh
Unify.
gotcha, like unifying the light shapes.
Unifying the light shapes. We we're taught, like when we grow up and we're drawing, because we start with drawing, we keep on thinking draw the shadow shapes, because in drawing you draw shadows, but in paint you draw light. You- And you need to start thinking drawing the light now, not just squint down and draw the shadow shapes. No, squint down, unify the shadow shapes, but you got to be drawing the light shapes, and you got to be thinking I'm drawing the light. So in other words, what I see right here is this area right here is more unified towards the dark end, and then we have this lighter shape here. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm trying to get it. And you can do variations. Like obviously I didn't go all the way dark here, but do you see like when we squint down, it's getting closer to what it is over on this other side. You know, it is. Even this part's going to darken some down. All right. But what I want too is that, see, like all down in here in this area is just like all over the place, just messy, right? And so we need to clean this up. It's getting too dark in certain areas. So let's go in with, let's do this. Let's go in with eraser. I'm kind of working all over here. And the reason why, like you could say, oh, but you could just shadow this in. Sometimes if things are too dark at this stage, the problem with leaving them like that and shadowing over them is we could shadow too dark. And then in trying to unify something that's already dark, you go darker to try to unify it, then that's when you start losing control. So I like to, even though this is eventually going to get darker, at this stage, I like to lighten this to help form my control better, keep control over the drawing. And in doing so, you're keeping it at a stage where you can correct it a little bit easier. So like this would be my eraser, my gummy eraser. I would have sharpened it into a point. You see what we're doing here? And watch this. So let's see what we've done so far here. Now squint as I do this. Squint down and look. Squint. Do you see? We're correcting the anatomy and we're getting the light and dark shapes. That's what we're doing. Let me make sure that YouTube is up, because I don't think YouTube chat is up. Good. Okay. So this is what we're doing with it. Oh man. I wonder if I can make this window a little bit. I think I can. Let me see if I can enlarge this
Halloran
just a little.
Perry says. We're just very quiet over here.
Oh, gotcha. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm going to try to get this a little bit bigger for you. I'm trying to bring it up to the, there you go. There we go. That's all right. Now that's a little bit better for you guys. You don't need to see it, all the windows around it. Okay. So let's continue. I'm going to, whoops. Okay. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Now let's look at this area down here. Let's unify this and correct the drawing if we can, which we can. And but for chair, again, I want to stress you've done a very good job on this, that because you've stuck with it. You've been doing this forever, partially because I'm slow in giving you critiques, and you have not gotten to a point where it's like unfixable, which is actually major. Advantage of being here is that I can freaking skip what I don't like. Boom. Easier to play DJ. Unify. unify, get the light impression, fix the drawing.
Future Oil Painter says. I've lost count of how many latte mochas this has taken, no sprinkles though.
Probably sprinkles, man. So I'm trying to bring this to kind of, we're trying to get the whole thing kind of on the same level. Now, you could brush it. You could go through with a brush, but it's also good to build up your control. And, it's not as efficient, but it will teach you if you go in with a racer, you'll learn a lot. And really, I would prioritize learning a lot with exercises right now. That's going to be darker. I probably shouldn't have made that light, honestly, but whatever. Fix it. Like you could go in with a brush and
Halloran
just,
Perry says. I love how, in art, you'll learn a lot invariably means this will be tedious as hell and will take forever.
yeah, sucks, doesn't it? That's the thing is, I know this is hard. That's why I try to show you all this stuff. You know, it's not easy. And, um, but one thing I think this is very important to stress. This stuff takes time. And I know on YouTube and other places, there's always these videos. It's like, this changed everything with like, do this one thing. And you just have to work a lot, but you have to do it the right way. And so this is how you do it. You have to train the right. You can train all day long, but if you train the wrong way, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not getting better. Um, but you gotta this. It's hard work, and you gotta draw several hours every day to get it. Lots of experience. So you know, one thing that I learned with drawing is just like in perseverance, which is one of those things. It's like corny to say, oh yes, just persevere through it. But it really is, there's something to be said about sticking with things. Like I learned a lot of life lessons by drawing, things I'd never thought, like, all right, don't give up. If you stick with it, it'll eventually turn out good. And sometimes it won't, but you just keep coming back, and like, I've failed so many drawings, but they're not failures because I always learn something from them. So you have to take the positive. So like these drawings that are rough as shit normally are the ones where you learn the most. And so that's not a failure, man, even if it comes out looking horrible. Comes out looking horrible, you got to figure out why that is. Why did it come out looking horrible? Oh, it wasn't unified. Oh, the drawing was wrong. Oh, the technique was bad. I'm squinting down looking at this whole thing, trying to fix these indiscrepancies, like get them ballpark. Okay, so let's see it again. All right, so it's coming along, right?
Airbender U1P says, were there any artists with really bad eyesight at your art academy? How did they manage to see values?
They had glasses. um, they actually, that's a good question. So you, I always say squint. You can see the values. You can get the line impression. But like I could do this, and it will unify the value some, especially with this left eye, because my left eye is very bad. But oftentimes they're painters who will just take their glasses off, and the blurring unifies everything, and it creates a light impression. They try to mimic it, but it takes a lot of practice to train yourself to understand, you know, the correlation between squinting and getting the values, right? How squinting helps get the values, how to do it. It's you have to
Sheer Curry
practice,
says,
you know.
that's when you become an impressionist.
This thing comes over so much. But it's a good question. It's a very good question. Let me show you what here. I'm going to mark up and show you guys what I'm kind of what I'm looking at, because you see me kind of going, okay, here, 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 here. You know, I'm doing these things where I'm going back and forth. Let me articulate what I'm doing drawing wise. So aside from trying to unify, okay, again, so what I do, first thing I went through and I got this, I try to get that smooth so I could then see the drawing, right? Working the paper so you can see the drawing, see what you're doing. Then I go through and try to rework everything. And really I'm using straight lines. I know it looks very curvy in here, but this is what I'm doing. Straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. Okay. And then I'll go through and you know, I might curve them, or if I ever like get things something too rounded, I'll go through and try to hatch it out again and create that subtle sharpness, that subtle point. A non-subtle point would make it too clunky looking. That's when it becomes blocky, but you get the subtle angles, some joints and stuff. That's when you step back and that's when it creates form. You have to understand the anatomy to create form. That's what we're going for, is form. Okay. In this leg, I'm looking at this width compared to the length, and this width compared to this whole length right here. Basic. Always go from large down to small. Basic down to detailed. All right. This point to this point, that's how I got that. Looking at this width to this height to get this length. Comparative measurements. What points am I comparing off of? When you do straight lines, they create points. All right. Those points, when done accurately, you can measure off of the hell other points, right? Point, point. And now on the calf, the shin area, normally what you see, and let's bring it over to her really quick. This is what I see on her. Points. It normally comes up like this. Point down here, point, and then down, down, point. So the calf normally is coming at a diagonal. It's not going straight across. It's kind of going diagonally up like that. Okay. This is the medial side. This is the lateral side. On the medial side, it's normally lower, the calf. And it kind of comes up, and then there's normally it comes out like that. It's kind of doing one of these things. That's normally how it is. Okay. You can kind of see that here. You can see the diagonal coming up. That's why you have this. See the form just kind of wrapping around there. Right here is coming out, but then like normally on this side here, it's coming out here and then going down like that into the ankle. That point, again, this point, into this. All right, so again, that's what I'm looking at. I'm seeing this, this is what I'm looking at right there. Point, point, point. See that? That's what I'm looking at. This, you'll notice when I cap, I'm not just like straight across. Not always. Sometimes I do, but normally I kind of do this because I'm thinking wrapping around the form three-dimensionally. This piece, kind of, a little bit
Future
less.
Oil Painter says. #yep.
So that's what that's my mentality. And then what I'm doing, I'm constantly comparing all these points to everything else here. Son of a bitch, the lengths and everything, right? So that's what I'm doing. A second. Oh, please go all the way back to this. Uh-oh. Shit. All right. Damn it. How do we get rid of it? You know what? We'll do this. Because unfortunately, I have to erase some of my old work. That's fine with that. Okay. Squint down. That is such bad anatomy. Oh my
Future Oil
gosh.
Painter says.
This is
It's
so
tough.
bad. Squint. Wait a second. What the hell am I doing? I'm looking at the wrong foot. I'm an idiot. That's all right. I was like, what the hell is going on? But I'm still right because I knew I had to darken this. I think it's so retarded. There we go. That's it.
Sheer Curry says. So retarded.
That was stupid.
Sheer Curry says. Do you know the difference between left and right?
Shut up. This is one.
Sheer Curry says, the left hand makes an L. The right doesn't. That's how you remember.
You had to be told, didn't you? There we go.
Sheer Curry says, I was born knowing. Halloran Perry says, sorry, I missed the goal of this study.
The goal
Is
of
this
this,
about accurate relative values on a dark background?
yeah. I had him choose this drawing because of the dark background. It's the only one that I could find. It is AI, which I don't like, but it's the only one I could find that had the background that I wanted. So I wanted him to do a value study so he learns to key the values up properly. The anatomy is off in a lot of different areas, so I do not recommend this for most people, like especially if you're studying on your own. Not yet. It'll get better one day probably, and like in terms of generating a human.
Rhiannon 8231
Probably already
says,
is, but
late to the show.
Rhiannon, what's
Future
up?
Oil Painter says, look, how can you tell the anatomy is all jacked up?
I mean,
Rhiannon 8231 says,
some
weather is crazy.
is it? So I mean, you could tell. Look at it. First off, some places it's hard to tell, but to me, this area looks a little bit weird. That's like generic, like this piece and stuff. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes it does look that way. There's things I've seen in real life. I'm like, you never think it'd look that way. So sometimes it's hard to tell. But look at this. Well, you can't see here, but remember this area here. But look at this hand. Look at this. It's a cleft lip right there, and she looks psycho, retarded. That's not good. And all over, it's like this doesn't really work. This ear, that's not good. But that's not why we're doing this drawing. And again, if y'all are late to coming,
Rhiannon
I use
8231 says, do you have a model? Halloran Perry says, the length of her arm is all whack.
yeah,
Future Oil Painter
well,
says, LOL.
the the hell, the length of the arm, the arm, okay, the arm's going, it's kind of doing one of these things where it's going back.
Rhiannon
Okay,
8231
I've
says,
seen that.
I asked if it was AI.
Yeah, this is now, and let me explain that why this is AI. First off, on my streams, I put AI instead of real life out because before I've had people who said it was okay for me to use their image, and then later on they say no, we want the videos taken down. So for demonstrational purposes, I will use AI so I don't have to deal with that. However, for you, anybody who's wanting to study, train, get a real life image because anatomically it's more accurate and you don't want to be learning bad anatomy or crazy stuff. Under my supervision, I asked But for Sure to do this specific drawing, which is AI because it was literally the only one we could find out of all the ones we have that has the back a flat dark background so that he can learn how to key his values up. That's the only reason. If there was another one that would have worked, I would have gotten it. But this one has a lot of anatomical flaws, which I'm trying to point out so he doesn't take them to heart. But you use your head, you'll be fine. But I don't recommend people going off AI to learn. Not yet. Down the road, maybe. I don't know. But that's this project. That's why I don't put stuff like I now steer clear of that stuff for videos, but I try to get my teachings out with the caveat saying, don't do AI, but this is why I have AI here for you. It's because I don't want people freaking saying, you can't have my image anymore. So I'll take it down because I'm not going to be an asshole about it, but right, so this is too thick. Something else. Anyway, so we keep on correcting this. I made it too thick. Let's go this way. Kind of comes in a little bit on both. Is this thing? Oh, was drawing on the wrong layer. There we go. Okay. This actually comes in some, and this comes in just a little bit.
Sheer Curry says. So what about clothed models?
Clothed? I would use clothed models. I think clothed models is fine. It's just, it's just boring. I would think. I don't think anybody cares about that. I would use a live model for that. But the problem is that um you get more out of the nude ones right now. Like I'm trying to teach this method of drawing because that's like, learning how to do the nude is so important. So I just trim that in just a little bit. And then with the eraser, this is a gummy eraser. So we're pretending this is a gummy eraser, the kneaded eraser. I'm going to go and just kind of lighten those lines up because I've seen drawings that get like, all of a sudden it's like, everything's looking like, really dark going across it. And
Sheer Curry says.
they might need to move this
I
out.
think there are a lot of free images to draw, but I think most are clothed.
Yeah. We need to find those free images that are like totally royal free. And if they are like, we get those. Like something that's official that we can do, then I'll take those. If it's like the dark background, it's just like, um, what is it? What's the one that has all the models and stuff? A lot of them. I've never seen anyone with like they're all good for pencil drawing, but not good for this type of thing where you're just like a dark background. Anyway, don't get the lines too dark because you don't want to, like, say you keep on like trying to work it and you're not
Sheer
erasing
Curry
it
says.
and it gets dark.
Croquis Cafe.
Croquis Cafe. If it gets dark, then you can't say you need to move this out that way and like the lights there. Well, you just scarred the paper. It's scarred because you made it too dark. So that's why it's important to. I prefer to go back and kind of soften the lines and stuff. So let's come up here and fix her butt some. I'm just gonna have to kind of guess work it again. Eventually, this does get dark, but not
Giga Blunder
yet.
says. Model Society.
Model societies. Do they have look, if we find some where we can actually use like on a stream that with the dark background like this, that's what we need. Because the goal is,
Giga Blunder says. Hi, BTW.
Diego, what's up, man? The goal is to be able to see, like, squint down, we see a light impression off the figure. We don't want to be distracted by light over here. Obviously, this would be, but that's the goal. All right. So again, this is what we've done. We're trying to get the drawing back and we're trying to unify. We're trying to make everything like this.
Rhiannon 8231
This
says.
this is good
Have you
shit.
all tried Pose Maniacs?
I haven't. No,
Rhiannon 8231
it's free.
says.
Pose Maniacs.
It's free.
Curry, check that out and try to find some with the dark background because I'm telling you,
Rhiannon
if we found some, it would
8231
change. I would
says.
be getting those.
I will post the link in the group.
Awesome, thank you. But this is good over here. Like this is what you've done, right? For the most part. And so let's see again. This is the original. And see, if you squint down, it's like there's not really a light impression. Now we're starting to get a light impression. Do you see? And let's look up in the back and see what we've done here. All right, we will have lightened this area some because it was dark before, and then we darken this, and we form the shapes. We shape everything, and we kind of define
Sheer
everything.
Curry
This needs to
says.
darken still a little bit.
Oh, those are like animated.
See? See that? We filled this piece in right there because when we squint, we don't see it. Watch.
Sheer Curry says.
Small things.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Okay.
Rhiannon 8231 says. You can move the model around 360, Pick male or female, not sure if they have skin or not lol.
Hurrah! That's awesome. Hurrah! Shit. Let me show you what I did here. I went down one, and then at first I went straight down like that, but then I was like, no, that's not how it is. There's actually a point, point. So those are the breaking points. One, down to two, and then three. Okay?
Oscilla
And
says.
then the breaking point.
Yes,
Coquette, what's up?
booties.
So that's what I did. So then we have one, two. So I did one, and then I did two, and then I cut it three. All right, three of them. And obviously it was extremely easy for me. I hardly had to think at all. In fact, I didn't think, I just did it. Right. It's probably wrong. It's always wrong. This comes out some. Actually, normally what I do, I draw it first and then I erase into it. Comes out some. Go with that. Comes out just a little bit and then it breaks down. We live to live. Squint, 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 squint. Unify. Light in this area. That's and I probably bulged it a little bit too much, so I might bring it back in. Just trying to, but drawing with straight lines and trying to see the subtle points. Well, draw with straight lines will give it form. Squint. Defy that. Defy. Light shape. There. There. And it breaks there. And this piece.
Rhiannon8231 says. Looks like she has one heck of a bunion on her right foot there.
Oh, yeah. Like, are you talking about this area here? Yeah, like that cannot be real. Is my point. That, like, toe, it makes no sense. That's my point. I want to do it.
Rhiannon8231 says. LOL yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Just a little bit. And then we're gonna do the thing where we erase it, but we erase it down to the paper. We don't need to erase, or not down to the
Oscilla
paper, we
says.
erase it to the value.
I mean maybe she does, not everyone has only Bucks fans feed. Sheer Curry says. Some people have retarded appendages.
You. Alright.
Sheer Curry says.
This is
No, not
like,
me.
yeah, sure. Something like that. There. It's one, two. It's coming out to there. There. Right. Okay. I think I see it. I think I see this. I might have brought it out too far. Cuts there. Drops just a hair width. Erase. Squint, 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 squint. Okay. It's cuts. Straight line. Straight line. I'm gonna that comes in just a little bit. Like that. And then we're gonna go and reduce it. Erase, erase. Squint. There we go. See how we're forming? And here's the thing. The reason why I'm racing again is because we're going to constantly keep on shifting these things, shifting the drawing around, and the more information we add in, the more shadows we add, the more we're going to be able to see. The key is to add very little and be able to see a lot. That is what we're really trying to go for. All right, so now let's try to unify this to this value over to the left. Right, that's what we're going to try to do. And again, I'm keeping this, like I know I could do a large brush, but I'm trying to pretend like this is charcoal. And this is going on way smoother. So like I'm making more progress probably faster with digital just because it's doing more what I want without having to worry about the paper. So paper is rough. So learning how to deal with the paper is extremely difficult, right? Let's let me shape this really quick. This point here. It's pretty good. I'm not going to look at that. I'm just going to draw what I think it should be. So you did a pretty good job on, I have to say. Very good. Masters, please. I might have even made it worse just now. But I don't care. I don't. So this is hard because we want to get the light impression that we're talking about, right? What's that?
Halloran Perry says,
fix what I did here.
do you organize these values in your head at all? Do you secretly have a 9-value system or something? Or
No,
is this all highly specific vibes?
highly specific vibes. I'm squinting down to see the impression because right now we're compressing the values. We're not going through like, so maybe a little bit of both of what you said. Right now, I don't know, 2 or 3 different values. I'm just trying to keep it basic and very simple, right? I'm trying to keep everything extremely simple right here. Because later on, what do? We go in, we say, okay, like we kind of do that thing where we put on the side of the paper the swatch. Okay, so we can get that dark. And when you do that, then everything looks really, really light here. Like, check this out. Right now, this area is looking pretty dark. But what if I was to go through and put this? This is as dark as we can get. Now that looks pretty light. You see? So that's keying up. Why don't we do this right now? You might think, oh, well, why not fix the drawing and get the values at the same time? With charcoal, say I go through and I'm like, okay, let's really darken everything and really create a light impression, this and that, at first, right?
Rhiannon
Really go through and do
8231
this.
says, Storm is amped up, got to bounce, hopefully you all will be here when I get back.
Ren, be careful, man. Um, but now if I go in with an eraser, like digital, this works. But if I go in with an eraser with charcoal, it will
Cher Curry
be,
says, she's a woman.
oh, that's right. I forgot. I'll only be able to get probably about that light with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, because it'll scar the paper. So what if that's a highlight? So in other words, we need to keep it flexible. So I'm trying to put information in, and every time you put an information in, then you can see more. You're like, oh, now I see the light shape, and that shape's off, which means this needs to move. I didn't catch that when it was just a line. It was just in line form. Now that I have values, okay, we got it. And you're constantly correcting each stage. So then what do? We slowly darken it certain parts, but we kind of keep everything keyed. We're trying to keep a light impression until finally the drawing, like we continue like this for several weeks until finally we get the drawing correct. Everything's controlled technique wise, right? Work on our proportions, our technique, our developmental process, everything developing at the same time, working all around the figure. Finally, it's set. Then we can go through darkest dark, lightest light, and start locking it. It's locked in, key the values, so you can't change it as easily. But now that's when you can start pushing those values and really understanding how they. So we're squinting down and comparing them with each other and using our eye to say this value is similar to this one's similar to that. And so it's very accurate observational drawing is what we're doing. We're teaching us how to observe what we see, how to draw it, and this is how we learn values, and then from there we go to painting. But charcoal is good because there's a limited value range with charcoal. As compared to painting, there's a larger value range. You can get darker and you can get lighter. Charcoal, you can only get so dark, but you can get darker than you can with pencil. So that's why we start with pencil, then we go to charcoal, then we go to painting. Boom, back. What was I working? Okay, let's get a. I'm trying to get
Halloran
the
Perry
light
says,
impression.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you're welcome, man. Yeah, it makes sense. And again, Halloran, like you always raise very good questions. And this is just how I was taught. There's a lot of different ways of going about doing things, and but this is a highly
Oscilla
accurate
says,
observational way.
if I ever did a nude, I'd want the final result to have all the censoring squiggles.
Um, yeah, but whatever you're doing, you want to. Even right now, I'm working things up, trying to get everything like looking correct and whatever. But you want to be trying to understand the form, which is why it's dangerous because this thing's AI and it's not really accurate. That's the problem. Still, you want to understand what you're looking at. This isn't working. I drew that. So again, working around the figure, you'll come back to what you worked on and realize that you're in fact an idiot. All right, so let's look at this point. This point compared to this point. This compared to this. Compared to this. Okay. Okay. So let me tell you what I see. This is my thought process. The first thing I saw was this is totally the wrong shape and it's too short. Not what she said. All right. So then I was like, okay, this point probably needs to come up. But then I compared to this. And I was like, okay, this relationship's correct. And then I compared this to this and said, but this point needs to come up compared to this. Then I compared this to this and realized that this point's the point that needs to go up because this is too short. So in essence, what happens, in essence, it's all the intellectuals have to say in essence. And then what I did, after I saw that this needs to come up, I had looked at the overall shape and I missed something that I should have caught. Looking at this shape here, you have the arm here. This comes up, but also this really comes up. In other words, we have it dipping down too much. It's like we have this, but it's dipping down. And I missed that. I totally missed it. It's so obvious. You can see this here, how this is pressing up into the chin, and then it's coming over, and this point's actually higher. Yeah, this point's here. And this point will come up and it probably shaves in some. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So and here's the thing, again, we're keeping it this value. I'm trying to, right? Which means we can still fix it. Imagine if I said, okay, we're having fun. I might as well just go through and get all the values in. Just want to express myself. And then you lock in and you're like, oh no, I can't change it. Idiot. We didn't do that because we're not idiots.
Future Oil Painter says. Yep. Sheer Curry says. Gay hands.
They are, man. Son of a bitch.
Giga Blunder says. What's the
Blunder.
prompt for something like this?
This, I think I did it on MageSpace. It was like one standing female, nude, classical pose, side view. Like I think if I'd say feet on ground or something, so that it includes the feet, and then I make it like aspect ratio, like the portrait or tablet size or whatever. I don't know, something like that. And then dark background.
Oscilla says.
And
chat won't even let me put someone in a bikini in a pool.
the model was, I can get you the info if you want, like on Mage. mage.space. But the thing is, sometimes they come relatively close to being anatomically accurate, but again, sometimes it's hard to tell. Like, it's hard to tell. For example, back muscles do a lot of different things when they move, and then when you put them in different lighting and then twist them, it's so difficult to say, oh yeah, that's totally off. Like, and I've drawn a lot of naked people. So this comes up some, you know, it's just how it is. I'm being so stupid. This still comes up there.
Oscilla
Stay.
says,
This
I've
actually,
drawn a lot of naked people. Lewis 2026.
you can quote me on that. I have. Okay, that comes up. I'm just inching this up. That comes up, something like that. Ah, this is not like I'm not good at working digitally. I don't know if y'all could tell. Uh,
Sheer Curry says, you never even seen a clothed woman.
exactly. Well said. Well said. This kind of comes up just a little bit. Something like that. Okay. And then we're fixing all of it at once. We're trying to at least, right? This cuts in because I have it back bulging too much.
Giga Blunder says, I'm only yanking your chain. No ILL meant. Sredding.
Oh, oh, okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I don't know. Okay, let's try this. Still needs to come up some. Still too bulgy. That's what she said.
Sheer Curry says, he likes getting his chain yanked. Sheer Curry says, joint.
Erase. This is so bad. Dang it. That's too pointed.
Giga Blunder says, I'm a master prompter myself.
Are you?
LOL.
Oh, master prompt. Yeah. I don't know. There's some people who pride themselves. I'm not like I don't know about that. Mine's very basic. Like I said, I desperate times, desperate measures. All right, let's unify this area some. Again, squinting down, trying to see just the overall shape of everything. Try, we're trying to keep it the same darkness, kind of. lighten it up. Going with eraser. Try to unify this area. Something like that. All right. This area is not working that well because I'm retarded.
Halloran Perry
Bring
says,
this up some.
someone show me the AI model that wasn't trained on a whole bunch of plastic surgery. This lady has BBL tourist written all over her.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. She does. It's great, isn't it? I don't know, guys. We'll see where that stuff heads to. It's like exciting and scary at the same time. Could go south really fast, but it's not going to be stopped at this point. If it could be, maybe I'd advocate for it to be stopped. I don't know. Trying to unify this stuff here. Unify this area some. Okay, the hair, this area right here. This is tricky. All right, the hair is you know this is hard to do. Maybe how I do this at first, we just kind of we mark the boundaries in, right? Mark those boundaries in, and then just go over it with a blanket value at first. And you can always kind of carve the light out because it's still not going to be that light, the hair. You don't want to darken it too much, but we do want to kind of try to unify this area some to make a light impression. Just kind of mid-tone it. Okay. And what I always like to do too, it helps in doing charcoal. Do this. Bring it up here. Bring it out as much as you can. That does make a difference. It really does. You want to give your eye as much of an advantage as you can get. Bring to the value. All right. So when we squint, it should be ballpark. This stuff in here. Let's kind of tighten some of this stuff up. Eraser. I remember my teacher coming in and just being so stingy or so precise and just plucking all these little light spots away and taught me the value of just unifying it. So if you ever get lost, say, okay, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Let's unify the values. Let's just unify and clarify the shapes. Reset. Do that. Unify values, clarify the shapes. Get the drawing back, right? Just hash those shapes out. They might be in the wrong place. Keep it at a workable state, but define it. Get the definition back. When we add charcoal in, we
Futury
lose the
Oil Painter
drawing.
says. The paper got a little bit scarred at that little black spot by the thigh.
Yeah, it happens. You'll overwork it and you'll learn from this, right? You'll learn from it. Like one thing that really helps is kind of, especially kind of going up to the lines,
Futury Oil Painter
really
says.
working in these areas.
Unify values, clarify shapes, gotcha.
Right. And, kind of like working like this area right here, kind of working to the edge, just doing small things like this. You see that? That will define the shape a little bit better. Just small little things all over, like, making sure that everything is, you know, steadily unified. And so we can continue with this honestly here. Okay, so this area right here. Unify this.
Windy City
Pretty good job
1828
with this,
says.
man.
Lewis High.
Windy City, what's up? Yeah, I lost the drawing there. And I'm assuming that this right here, I'm just going to assume that this is a little bit more than it is. Especially this piece right here. I think it probably does something like this, maybe. And if it doesn't, fine. That might not be how it is, but oh, oh, oh. What do we do?
Futury Oil Painter says. Already looks way better.
Unify, unify. It does help to kind of put a little bit of love on the lines, the line quality and stuff, just to make it feel like it's sitting on something. It's a standing figure. That comes up.
Futury Oil Painter says. How do you sharpen the charcoal?
I'll show. Oh, good man, good man. I'm so proud of you. I'll show you. Let me show you that. Told you to remind me, and you did not fail, you beautiful son of a bitch. You beautiful son of a bitch. Did not fail me. Is it raining? 1 second. Now I'll get the charcoal. 1 second. Woo! Woo! It's raining. To be raining. Yes, it's raining. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. All right, trying to find some charcoal. My goodness. The
Sheer
charcoal.
Curry says. Too pretty for jail but not too pretty to remind him about the charcoal.
I can't go to jail. I'm too pretty. You know what they do to people as beautiful as me in jail? You're gonna make me say it. All right, got the charcoal. I'll show you this in a
Future
second.
oil painter says.
So,
That's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger meme from Predator, you son of a fish.
you son of a Dylan, you son of a bitch. All
Sheer
right,
Curry
let
says.
me show you guys this really
I
quick.
don't even drop the soap in the shower when I'm by myself. Who knows what I would do to my own ass?
Well said,
Future
well
oil
said.
painter says. But your honor, I'm too leery for jail.
It worked. You got out of it. Okay. Now, let's see what we got here. So, my again, oh, wait. Let me
Sheer Curry says. Does too ugly for jail work too?
this I'm not going to work this right now. That's just forget about it. Too lazy. I'm just too lazy. Anyway, okay. So, let's go over this again. So this I know this area sinks into the background, right? But anatomically, you still want to know what's happening. So it's good to kind of have it lightly sketched in here. That's why add the charcoal in, then you have to go and find the drawing again. Every time you do, you want to be observing. You don't just want to be simply copying over unless you know it's in the right place. This is still at a workable stage, but ideally all this background is like the same thing. Now this is how we have it. Again, our goal was to get a basic light impression. It's not to go like it's still in fact like this area right in here is 1 second.
Giga Blunder says.
This out.
I'm a sentence away from jail.
Are you? There we go. There we go. Just taking that out, taking these little spots out. Trying to unify this right. Just a little bit. There we go. Squint. And I'm doing this by squinting. I'm squinting down, and when you squint, you can really see little splotches here and there that are not the right value. There. Now you do that. See, that's looking a little bit better. All right. Do some work around. Oh, let's get rid. Let's get rid of this. Shit. Bring that down some. Bring it down. Get the drawing. Wow, that is really damn good technique. I have to say, I really nailed that one. I zoom in, it just looks like this. All right, that's fine. We'll just leave it for now. Now, okay, so this is what I want to see. Here's what we got. This is where it was, right? See? Work the drawing, get the light impression. I want you to look at the light shape. And again, like down here, I still need to work it. Like this needs
Sheer
to get a
Curry
little
says.
darker going down there.
Damn.
Okay? So you see how this is kind of a mid stage right here. I kind of got that, but then what do? We have to go in and get kind of darken this down some. How do we do that? I'll show you. Let's go ahead and do that now. I'll show you how to do the charcoal in a second. Squint. Do this. Lighten this up. Go in with eraser. Soften. Soften the transition. Soften it coming out here. There's a little form. Squint. Squint, squint. There you go. Go back. See? It's starting to work. Probably ditto the other side here. Soften this transition. Soften this transition. Come in with the eraser. Soften. Try and get an impression, a line impression. This is too light. Shape's off. You have the hamstring here, and so you have this piece kind of coming into it a little bit more. So this is going to darken.
Future oil painter says. Good enough for government work.
Right there. We're going to try to unify this some. That's why it's important to clean up the shadows so that we can actually see what we're moving. Soften the transition. We're working on not just the transitions, we're working on light shapes, dark shapes, just shapes in general. Yeah, man. This line is not there. So this is what I'm looking at for this. First off, I was trying to see the overall shape. So I said, okay, how high is it? It's going to about here.
Giga
And then
Blunder
look at this
says.
piece here.
It's so rewarding when forms are taking shape.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then I say, okay, it kind of cuts in slightly to this piece here. So you can see what I'm talking about over. Let's look over on the figure. I'm talking about, I'm squinting down. I'm seeing this light shape, but I also see how it kind of comes like this. Do you see? And then I say, okay, so it starts here, here, and then this piece is here, and it's cutting here compared to this. So you have this width to this width. You see what we're doing? We're not just isolating this. So because we need to put it in the right place. So I'm saying this to this. All right. Then, because we want to draw this, right? But that piece is kind of you have to set the boundaries first before we draw that. And to do that, really, I clean this area up. Got to clean that area up. There, 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 there. This needs to unify. This piece here, this to this, this to this, this to this. That's what we need to see.
Future oil painter says. Lots
Soft.
of cleaning.
Lots of cleaning. And I'm just going to keep it very simple. And then this area right here, if you look, this edge right here on ours is a little bit too hard. So instead of going and trying to draw all this information in right now, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because at this stage in the drawing, we're still shifting things around. Now, if you want to put it in just very easily, if you think you can do it fast without really, you don't want to model it because it could still move. So we don't want to waste our time modeling if things might move. It might be correct. The leg might be perfect, but it might be the leg shifts a little. And when you're working with a standing figure, if say you got this far within the first day or so and you have like this pose for like 4 or 5 weeks, you want to wait and see what poses they get into. It'll subtly shift and you might find aesthetically you like something different down the road. So it's always good to keep it loose. Don't lock it in by spending all your time like meticulously turning the form. All right, so like I said, this is too sharp, so I'm going to soften it some. I say sharpen, I mean soft. I say soft, I'm trying to soften this area just a little bit. It doesn't take much. Something like that. And we're trying to, again, we got to clean this up so that we can actually shape it right. Soft. Really, I'm trying to get this. This is where I was trying. I just couldn't manage to hit it there. And then I'm gonna, that should look better from a distance. Kind of. Then we come in and try to unify this just a little bit. Now I know in Photoshop there's ways of like smoothing things out, but that would defeat the purpose. This is how I'd work on it with charcoal. You want to hate life when you're doing this. All right, that's the goal because life isn't hard enough. Definitely not. No, we have to make it harder by being artist number one, and then number two being this type of artist, whatever we want to call ourselves. I don't care. Drawers, people who draw, unbalanced imbeciles.
Sheer Curry says. Drawers.
Oftentimes when we work on something, an area too long, it starts becoming too dark. And so a good rule of thumb, this is good practice, always have your eraser in your offhand and constantly be drawing with the eraser as much as you are with your the pencil or the charcoal. What reminded me of that is this area right here. It's, you see, it's okay still, but it could be getting a little bit too dark. It's also slightly in the wrong place. So what I like doing, I like keeping it at the value in which each stage is set at. So I'm just going over with the eraser just a little bit. Bring it back down. Not much. It's not much. But now look, I keep it in the ballpark. You see? It's still malleable. So when we squint, yeah, we don't have all that little detail in there, but that's something that we can move very easily. Right? Right here, you never want to get this dark, which is what I did. Again, this is something that I I keep that value light so that I'm not tempted to go darker and darker and darker. If you got to keep on, you draw something in charcoal, it gets dark fast. Can't scar the paper, so you don't want to tempt yourself by drawing dark things and saying, "Oh, I can't see it. I need to draw darker to see what I did." Constantly go in and train yourself to pluck it back up with a eraser, and that way you can very easily continuously draw with light lines. That's how you work. And if you do it that way, you're not putting as much pressure on this paper, which is meant to be worked for a long period of time, which means you're not going to wear the paper out. You can work on it for like 5 weeks and then not get worn out by doing this technique. Right? Hopefully I don't get banned for this. I always get banned when I'm doing a charcoal on Twitch. You know what? Whatever. But this is kind of it. It might be a little bit too realistic for him, even though it's not like great realistic. Um, yeah, so something like that. I don't know. I know this is incorrect. I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna work on it because I will get banned for that probably. Anyway, back's not looking great. This angle's off. So let's try something here. I think, I really think what needs to happen is this comes in just a little bit more than I have it. Suppose it's not even that much.
Giga Blunder says. NSFW.
I have it set there, I think. There's an option, but they always get mad at me. Once there, cuts in, still drops in some.
Future Oil
This
Painter
is like
says.
I always, this is how I
If the
work
paper
signs.
does start to get overworked or damaged, Perhaps I should start a new one?
No, you work through it. You work through it and you learn from it. You make it so that you never want to damage it again. Always work through it. The purpose of this is not to do one of these fresh drawings for your mom or your wife and be like, look what I did. And you get like a gold star. The purpose is to make yourself suffer as much as you possibly can, but learn from it. And then the next time you come in, you're like, oh my gosh, I can do all these things because last time was so bad. So you're going to stick with it. Trust me, I've done the same thing. You get to the point where like working in an area and it needs to be dark and you can't get it dark because it keeps on falling off. And then you have to get creative with
Future oil
ways to
painter
put it on.
says. 10-4.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Budfordshire can take it. He was in the military. So he has this toughness and you need it. You do need it. And when I'm not trying to wear people down with this stuff. Like I'm really, but to learn this, you have to get that mental discipline to continue with it and to kind of get past
Halloran Perry says.
this
And if that doesn't work, slap a bunch of paint on it and call it alla prima.
alla prima. Alla prima. Right. So how I'm working the back here
Sheer Curry says. Did teachers rip your paper in Italy?
They never did, no. I mean, they never did. Maybe sometimes they said start over, you did it wrong, like if we screwed up that bad. But he's actually in a good place. I know you got to keep in mind, this is one of the first charcoal drawings he's done. And I don't think he's ever done one under my tutelage before. Look. I'm working digital, so it's very easy for me to do things fast. I don't have to worry about the paper. Everything's smooth. I don't need to keep on sharpening charcoal. Sharpening charcoal! I don't need to keep on sharpening charcoal.
Sheer Curry says. I am not hating on Bud for chair.
No, I know you aren't. One second. Actually screwed this up. That's there. This. Here. Now, let's do this. Give me a second. I have a plan. Stupid thing. There you go. This is how you sharpen. All right. So we have the charcoal right here. Now I'm going to go, you want to sharpen it into a knife. Okay. So I'm going to take it and put it flat edge right here. All right.
Future oil painter
Flip
says. I know Sheer Curry at school.
Flip it. I know this is very hard to see, guys. This is probably not too helpful.
Sheer Curry says. I've been doing it wrong. Sheer Curry says. Of course.
I'm just going two separate sides here, and what I want, I'll draw what it is. Now I'm going up to the kind of trying to shape it, and what I want is a knife edge, and I'm really pushing it into the tip there. Other side, tip. I'm really flatten it.
Future
This
oil
is just
painter
a support.
says,
I'm not really pressing
like
too
a
hard.
knife shape.
Like a knife shape.
Future
Exactly.
oil
We're just
painter
doing a knife
says.
shape.
Okay.
Okay. And here, let me see. I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Here, and then this piece. Like that. There you go. This is what I want right here. Okay. This is the knife edge facing up top. See that? That's a knife edge. This whole upper top, like from right here, is sharp. And then you have the point right there. Now this side that's up is flat on the back. So this is like a knife, right? And ideally you have it coming down a little bit more. This, I should have gotten a softer piece of charcoal because it's taking forever, but essentially you lay it flat along it and you get that long tip to it. Okay, that's what you do. And I could elongate this. Let me, I can get up and actually see it now. There you go.
Future Oil Painter says. Samurai sword.
Samurai sword. But anyway, this is what we got. Now it's hard to see. It is a little bit difficult to see. See that? But you do sharpen about 5 or 6 of these things, and then you can go back and, you have them, you use them, and then you can go back and do another round of sharpening. That way you don't need to continuously sharpen everything. That's how we go about it. Another time I'll show you some techniques with the charcoal, but I wanted to really get the idea of down what you need to do. So like, and ideally, again, we get this even smoother than we have it here. That's what we want. Ideally, we want it smoother. Okay. Any questions? Been wanting to give you this critique for some time, and Ear would benefit from this too. Ear's doing a really good job, and I just wish I could spend more time with you guys with this stuff. It's just between the commissions and all this stuff, it's just difficult for me to get to this, but I've been wanting to show you guys for some time. So where to go from here?
Future Oil
Essentially,
Painter says. Thanks.
yeah, once we get this to this point, right? Then like I was doing with the back, I'm going through finding things to correct and continuously correct, get the drawing, keep on erasing it, make sure it stays in that area. Eventually what we do, then we'll go through and
Future Oil Painter says. Not gonna lie, gonna watch this again a few times.
good. That's why I did this, and it'll be up on Twitch and YouTube in perpetuity, but eventually we go in and we mark the darkest dark, and then we'll mark the lightest light, which probably you'll have on the side of your board or something. So let me put it right here. So once we do this, you see, wow, we really have values, and all this is put into perspective, right? It's not that dark. It's not that dark. That's why we keep here and we continue to, like, the arm's off. The arm is wrong because we shifted
Sheer
it up. It's
Curry
still
says.
wrong. We keep on
We
correcting.
can't see the screen, donut.
Damn it! It's all falling apart. You see now? All right. What I was saying, you didn't really miss much. All I said was we're correcting the drawing, and then at some point we go in and we put the darkest dark and we put the lightest light. And when we do that, we can see that all this isn't that dark. That's why we keep it here, right? At this stage, and we just continuously shift and correct things, and we constantly try to get the light impression. We don't need to detail all this, like, don't detail this stuff in here. That comes at the very end. You don't need to be going through getting all these little back details and bumps and stuff. Not yet. If you're going to do that, if you want to, like, that's fine. You can go lightly over it a little bit, but you don't need to be getting like all these details because you're going to be like, I shifted this back, and when I shift the back, all the placement of the details changes. So if you spent all that time working those details up, saying, oh, well, I need to get the details in because I see it when I squint, you're retarded, because you've spent all that time doing those details, and then you're going to have to shift them. So you've wasted all that time. Idiot. All right, so that's why we don't do that. But if you see them, I see them kind of like I still see, like, I see this piece, I see this piece. That's fine to put in. That's fine. You can do that. Just don't take forever. But all these little squigglies here, don't do that. Just one value if you can't squint down. Even if you can see them, just say, okay, rationally, it doesn't make sense to put them in because I'm going to have to change it anyway. All right. But eventually, once this is correct, then we can dark is dark, light is light. And then you can slowly do another layer of dark, you know, like you don't need to go straight up dark, but maybe you can bring it to somewhere around this level or something, you know, and add a little bit more in, something like that.
Future oil painter says,
Step up, build up to it.
but I'm good at being an idiot. That's
That
where I
you
shine.
are. And so then from there, after eventually we start the keying process, but you're still squinting and you're using the same technique. I showed you the technique you'll be using the whole time. It's just we're at a basic stage right now. Even up to the end, your work, you're trying to understand. Look, you're always trying to understand what you're looking at, even up to the end. It's not like, okay, I got the drawing, now I can just plaster everything over, just like filling in the numbers. You can rest more in the drawing, but you still need to be thinking about the drawing and the placement. Otherwise, that placement is going to be subtly off, and a trained eye will be able to tell. The best thing to do is to constantly try to figure out the form of the drawing. Think of the three-dimensionality, try to get the form. And if you do that all the way through, you're going to be correcting the drawing up to the very end. Even when you're detailing, you're just working on a more subtle scale, but you're always trying to get the drawing. So then you'll be making little corrections here and there that the average person wouldn't make. And that's what really pushes the drawing into something freaking amazing. Amazing, right? That's what we do. That's it. All right, so, but that key right there that I just showed you, you know, that establishes your value range. That's what we do in paint. In painting, we do that. We establish value range in paint. We know how light or dark we can go. You need this in your painting, but for sure, because you lack the drawing skills. Like you have decent drawing, but you need to get better at it. But in your painting, you're not bringing your drawing skills into your painting as much as you can. And that's a hard thing to do, but you're still doing great. And the values aren't there because you don't know yet how to get that sense of light. Think of a good drawing or a good painting, good drawing or painting has a solid sense of light to it. It has a unified flow of light. It's not splotchy, it's not broken up. It makes sense on an anatomical level. And that's what we're trying to get here. There's studies. That's why we have to learn from it, which is why AI is not great right now because but I've told you why we're using it for this. It's the only one we could get with the background right. Now, if we find some with like some place where it's like, yeah, you can use this. It's okay to use this online and it's a dark background and this is the right lighting composition and it's a real life figure. That is gold and we will use that. We will use that, you know. I don't want to get a model here, take a picture and put hers up there, even if she gave me permission, because I've had people contact me and say they don't want their work up anymore. I want this stuff to always be available. That's my dilemma right now. That's why I'm using AI. AI can't yet tell me to take the work down. Now, maybe in 5 years when it becomes sentient, it's like, hey, I don't like how your attitude, bitch. Take it down. I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe it backfires one day. Doubtful. Anyway, any questions? We good? It's about that time I
Sheer
go.
Curry says, AI will kill us all.
It might. It literally might. It could be a very good thing, and it could be a very bad thing. It is a little scary. It's going to become more intelligent than us in a couple of years.
Sheer Curry says, It would do us a favor.
I don't want to die.
Future Oil Painter says.
I don't know, guys.
All
It's
good looks done to me.
good. Well, you get it to this stage, unify, get the drawing. Keep it at a workable state. Don't scar the paper. Okay? Unify. Like this stuff down here on the left side, this stuff needs to be more unified. It's a little splotchy. It still works. When you squint down, it still works. It's workable. That's it. See, I want, now look at the sense of light, sense of light, sense of light. Lightly squint when I do this, lightly squint, lightly. You see, when you
Future Oil
squint,
Painter
you can see
says.
the light.
When AI takes my job, it'll be doing these nudes at every corner.
Right. And it's not correct yet. There's still things that need to be correct, but I ballparked it, right? It's ballpark. And then now look at the drawing. Son of a bitch. Look at the drawing. We're looking at the drawing. So we got the drawing and we got the sense of light. Unify everything. Notice I really didn't touch the shading on the right side. Are you left-handed? You're left-handed, aren't you?
Future Oil Painter says. When AI takes my job, it'll be doing these nudes at every corner. I do bad left-handed.
You bad left-handed. Gotcha. I thought you were
Future Oil
because on the
Painter
left hand
says.
it was
I bad left-handed.
you bet left-handed. Nice.
Cher
Guys,
Curry says.
that's it right there.
OMG, that's creepy, you could tell.
He says he bets left. He's not left-handed. But the reason why I thought so is because all the splotch marks are on the left side, which normally means that he's putting his finger there to draw. And the right side's very clean, unless he's using a maul stick. So, which I don't think he is. That's why.
Future Oil Painter says. I did draw left-handed, lol, how did you know?
Well, that's how.
Cher Curry says.
Yeah.
Maybe he put something else there.
She's talking about her penis.
Future Oil Painter
That's
says.
what she does.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah, it just looks like with the way like everything's on that side and how it was worked that you're left. Anyway, it was a fun thing. It was a good exercise, a good practice for me too. Actually, this stuff is good. But yeah, charcoal.
Cher
The
Curry
purpose
says.
of this is to get the values.
I wasn't talking about penis.
Yeah, you were.
That's just your mind.
No, that's what you're saying. But for this, getting the values, this
Cher
model is
Curry
totally
says.
fine to do. Not
No,
ideal.
wait, you're ambidextrous.
Hmm. Hmm. I need a drink. It's Monday, man.
Future Oil Painter says. I also flipped it upside down.
Good. And flipping it upside down using a mirror, use your phone. Your phone can be used as a mirror. We're trying to train ourselves. The purpose is to train ourselves, to sharpen our eye to see the drawing. We're trying to train our mentality to think we're not supposed to just simply copy. We're supposed to understand what we're looking at.
Halloran Perry says, I gotta run. Thanks for the
Hal,
stream.
thanks for being here, man. It's good having you. I'll see you around. You take care. Guys, that's it. I'm going to call it here. Go home and, I don't know, smoke a cigar. I gotta take care of the old goat. The goat. Good man. Let's save this
Sheer
really
Curry
quick.
says,
There we go.
Nick.
Saved. All right. Y'all are awesome. I will see y'all. I'll be on. I'll stream again.
Future Oil Painter says, thank Lewis. Sheer Curry says, laters. Sheer Curry says, Mike went off.